What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today it's just kind of I don't know, did a couple things to both my setups, both my Phase 4 and this BowTech SS34. And I wanted to kind of go over that as well as kind of give you my thoughts on the SS34. I know when I reviewed this bow, I told you I was thinking about picking one up and just playing with it. I've never owned a BowTech before. I think I've owned not every other brand, but dang near all the big major brands over the years. So let's get into the bow first. So if you haven't seen the review, go back to check out the specs on it. I set this up probably, 3 weeks ago. Got some new strings on there. Got my stabilizer on there. I took my scope off my target bow, honestly, because I don't really have another sight that I want to put on here. I've got my black gold on my Traverse, which is my backup hunting bow. Got my Excel on my Mathews. The spot hog that I have it's ancient and the pins are so dull I can't even see them inside. So this is my Excel. It's like the original Achieve. It's all aluminum. Got my Shrewd 35mm scope on there, 4-power lens. This is a Shrewd. There's a 14-inch bar, or sorry, it's a 16-inch. I think it's 14-inch bar on a quick disconnect. Comes to about 16 inches total with the weights. 10-inch back bar. These are the Shrewd, the Onyxes, I believe. So not the Rev X, but kind of the one below it. Anyway, after shooting this bow, really impressed with it. Aims really well. I put the clutch grip on, so it's got just a couple degrees more angle on that grip right there. I really like the way that makes this bow feel. Holds extremely steady. Draws almost too smooth. Like, I don't want to say it has a really long valley, but it definitely, like, as soon as that cam breaks over, it's like, oh, this is just easy for the last, 3 inches. It feels like it's got a longer valley than my Mathews. That kind of leads into what I'm going to show you here in a little bit. But super easy to tune, aims great. Just everything about this bow is what I like. I like the specs of it. It's got a long riser, stable limbs. I have heard, and I don't know this to be the case, we've only sold a few of these. I think we sold like 6 or 7 of these. They're so new, but I have heard a couple people call and ask me about a lot of wear on the cable right here. So if this thing is buried all the way, like if this cam was buried all the way to the right to tune, when you draw the bow, some guys are having issues with this machine piece right here rubbing on their serving and fraying the serving. BowTech is aware of it. I have not seen that. I've got probably 400 shots through this. Strings still look brand new. That being said, I think that really depends on the cam positions. So that's definitely something to be aware of. I'm sure BowTech, if it becomes an issue, they will warranty any cams that cause that. I think all they need to do is make that track a little bit wider, and it'll alleviate that. This is the only cam. They've redesigned this cam specifically for this bow this year, and like any new thing, depending on the setup, draw length, all that could be an issue. But in terms of the way the bow shoots and feels, man, I really like it. I tried it on performance too. It definitely stacks more at the back. You do pick up about 7 to 8 feet a second from what I, at least through the chronograph, that's what it told me. And it decreases that let off just a couple percent. Now, for me, shooting this bow I don't know what I'm going to do with it, really. I mean, I don't compete that much anymore, but I go to 3D shoots and stuff, and I'll probably take the lens out of the scope and just run the pin. I don't really like shooting lenses anymore unless it's for like indoor, competitive outdoor stuff, and there's no competitive 3D around here. I'm not going to Reading, so I really don't need the lens in there. But what I didn't like, so I think the let off is like 87% in comfort mode. To me, there's just not enough holding weight there. Even though I'm running this that's weird. Somebody's jiggling the door. Even though I'm running this at 73 pounds, there's just not enough holding weight at that let off. So what I did to combat that, the draw stops here on the end. I cut heat shrink tubing in half. I didn't have big enough heat shrink tubing to fit over it, but I cut it in half and wrapped it around and just glued it to itself on there. And I did that twice, top and bottom. And it did two things. It took my let off down to probably, 81 or 82%. Like, it's noticeably steadier. What it also did though was shorten my draw length just a teeny tiny little bit, and I actually needed that. If you've watched my videos, you know I'm a stickler for draw length and D-loop length and all that stuff, and I'm always this in between, right? So I was running this bow at 30.5. My backhand felt good. I liked the string position. I felt like I needed just a little cushion to help push into, just to hold real steady. You know, those two pieces that combined on there, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Now that doesn't correlate necessarily directly to, you know, an 1/8 of an inch of draw length. It feels closer to probably 3/16 of an inch of draw length, but it gave me just that tiny little bit, gave me that extra holding weight, and man, it made a huge difference. What I can do on this, like if I was going to shoot this at 60 pounds, what I would do is leave the draw stops at 30.5 and then lengthen the draw length another 1/2 inch. And what that would do is it's not going to change my draw length, but it's not going to allow that module to get all the way into the valley. And that'll take your holding weight down to like 68, 70%. And I know a lot of the target crowd, you know, was doing that with like the reckonings and stuff. At 73 pounds, that's too much holding weight. I don't want to hold that much weight. But at 60 pounds, if I was shooting, you know, like outdoor with this or something, or USA Archery, I would definitely do that and just see how much better it held. So I did the exact same thing on my Mathews, because again, I was at, you know, 29.5 on the Mathews, feels too short. 30 feels a bit long. Mathews run a 1/2 inch long. So 30 on a Mathews feels like 30.5 on this. And again, I just felt like I was right at the very max that, you know, I could have that front arm out there and still be strong. So I did the same thing. I cut a couple little layers of this heat shrink tube, glued it over the end. I took off the felt that's on the modules, glued that over the end, and now both bows literally feel exactly the same, and it's so much more comfortable. I was holding way better. I felt stronger in my shots, and yeah, I think it's a cool little tip. You know, if you're trying to, now Mathews makes the 80% modules. I could easily get those and throw those on there. I don't think it's decreasing a full 5%. It's probably taking it down 3%, 4%, maybe 2 to 4%. I don't know, but it feels better. I hold more solid, and overall, it's just the right move. I've just got that little bit of cushion in my front arm, you know, to where I have something to kind of push into, versus when I'm just fully extended, it's like, you know, after about 5 seconds, my hold's no good. So anyway, just thought I'd kind of touch base on that. If you have any questions on either setup or any setup really, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. It's inside_out_precision, or call the shop here at G4. I want to touch base on that too. We have pretty much every product we sell that we're allowed to sell online, we have online. We are not just an archery shop. We're a full service gun shop. We have Sitka, Stone Glacier. I think we're sold out of our Mystery Ranch. But we got all sorts of stuff, cases, anything you can imagine, pretty much gun or bow related, we have. So it's G4 Outdoors or G4 Archery. Look it up online and go right to our website. Also follow us on Instagram. There's G4 Archery, and there's also Hunt G4. The archery obviously is archery specific. The Hunt G4 is kind of all encompassing in the shop. So thanks for watching today, guys. Remember, precision is a decision. Keep them in the middle. I'll see you on the range.